My Hero Academia, once the biggest news in Shonen, a series that dominated the anime world before 2019, and one that felt destined to join the ranks of Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece. Yet today, as its final season airs, barely anyone talks about it with the same hype. So, what happened? How did MHA go from being the chosen successor of classic shonen to being overshadowed by newer hits? And most importantly, did the final season actually bring it back? Today, we are breaking down the entire journey, the rise, the fall, and the unexpected revival of My Hero Academia. Let's rewind to where it all began. My Hero Academia, written by Kohei Horikoshi, started publishing in Weekly Shonen Jump in 2014. Just 2 years later, Studio Bones adapted it into an anime, and season 1 immediately created shockwaves. Back then, the anime industry was missing a pure classic shonen superhero story. Naruto had ended, Bleach was gone, One Piece was deep in long arcs. There was a gap, and MHA filled that gap perfectly. Even with just 13 episodes, season 1 delivered a fresh setting, a strong emotional core, uniquely designed characters, clean, consistent animations, and fast, hype-filled fight. It was everything people wanted from a modern shonen, and this was just the beginning.
Starters, one out of a million will reach those heights. Always had a feeling that I won't deny that work. Never could toss. Look at my eyes, I'm on the rocks. Rise.
Season 2 doubled the episode count and the stakes. The UA Sport Festival became one of the most iconic tournaments in anime. New characters, bigger fights, and refined animations made fan obsessed. But Season 3 is where things exploded, with arcs like the Forest Training Camp, the Hideout Raid, and the legendary All Might vs. All for One. MHA became mainstream. Reaction videos, fan edits, discussions everywhere. All Might's final stand didn't just elevate the anime, it defined an entire era, but this hype came with a cost. Season 3 raised expectation to almost impossible levels. After season 3, season 4 was supposed to carry the torch, and at first it did. The overhaul arc delivered a slow burning setup, psychological tension, new characters, and one of Deku's most explosive fights. Many fans still see it as a peak MHA, but then the tone suddenly shifted to the school festival arc. Now look, the arc isn't bad, it's wholesome, has character moments, and includes gentle criminal who's actually a great villain. But coming right after Overhaul, for many viewers, it felt slow, even filler like, and I am one of them. Then came the last 2 episodes, Endeavor and Hawks vs. High and Noon. This fight brought the hype back instantly, but unfortunately, a lot of viewers had already dropped the season before reaching it. Still, season 4 overall survived, but season 5. Season 5 is where the real damage happened. Pacing issues, focus on side characters, arc rearrangements, and lack of urgency made the season feel mid. To a majority of casual watchers, it's become boring. Compared to the intensity of earlier season 5 was simply not competitive. And around this exact time, something huge was happening. Between 2019 and 2021, anime entered a new era. A massive wave of new fans joined during the pandemic, and suddenly, modern shonen was everywhere. Demon Slayer with movie quality animation, Jujutsu Kaisen introducing a dark, stylish, fast paced world, Chainsaw Man bringing raw chaos and cinematic direction, and Attack on Titan returning with its final season. Bleach was also making a legendary comeback. These new shows completely revived audience expectations, shorter attention spans, viral clips, faster pacing. This became the norm. MHA, meanwhile, stayed committed to classic shonen storytelling. Long arcs, gradual build up, a large cast, slow emotional progression. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. But in the era of bite sized hype, MHA suddenly felt old school, and the internet simply moved on. While the mainstream conversation faded, something interesting was happening quietly. MHA didn't give up. Season 6 arrived, and fans who stayed were rewarded. The paranormal liberation war arc delivered. Non-stop action, major character deaths and plot twists, Shigaraki becoming terrifying, heroes pushed beyond their limits, stellar animations and pacing. Then came Dark Deku, one of the series' strong emotional arcs. This was MHA maturing, evolving, and proving it could still compete at the higher level. And Season 7 continued the momentum with even more battles, reveals, and build up toward the endgame. The fandom that remained, they were loud, loyal, satisfied, but the mainstream still didn't return. Not because the anime was bad, but because people had simply moved on. And that brings us to the final season. This is where MHA pulls off something rare, something iconic. The animation, sharp, clean, dynamic. The choreography, peak bones. The story, emotional, high stakes, full circle moments that reward long term fans. Every character arc from Deku to Shigaraki to Endeavor reaches a powerful conclusion. The final season isn't just good, it's a statement that MHA never truly failed. It simply evolved away from the spotlight while the rest of the anime world changed. Because of its core, My Hero Academia is about falling, rising, breaking limits, and standing tall again. And that's exactly what the anime itself did. So, what happened to MHA? It didn't collapse, it didn't lose its quality. Instead, expectations rose too high. Season 5 slowed momentum, a new generation of shonen took the spotlight, and fans with shorter attention span moved on. But MHA kept going. Stronger writing, better pacing, massive emotional payoffs, and its final season. A true comeback not for the entire internet but for the fans who stayed. Maybe My Hero Academia isn't the greatest anime ever made. Maybe it isn't perfect, but it is a story with heart, heroism, and growth. And for many of us all, it will always hold a special place in our heart. So, for one last time,